2TC is an achievement in Bloons Tower Defense 6 where you need to complete a chimps game using just 2 towers. Today we're going to be doing this with the Summon Phoenix and the Anti-Bloon. Now we want to do this with just Dragon's Breath, but round 76, really annoying when it comes to all of the regrowers on that round, so that's why we are forced to run Summon Phoenix rather than just stick to Dragon's Breath. Now in today's video I'd like to pose a question. What is your all-time favorite tower within the game? I'm not talking about like a particular upgrade, but just a particular tower in general. It could be the Wizard Monkey, it could be the Super Monkey, it could be the Dart Monkey, it could be the Boomerang Monkey, it could be the Monkey Sub, or it could even be the Mer Monkey, or it could even be a particular hero. Now, from my experience, this is a tower, actually, I'm going to talk about the polar opposite. I used to, when I first started playing this game, I absolutely hated the mortar. Any idea of just microing a tower in order to get the full use out of it, I was just a sheer no factor on that one. Just, I would not touch that thing with a huge ass pole any given day of the week. But honestly, as time's gone on, and rather than continuously hating it, let's experiment. Let's find out what this thing is capable of if I give it some seriousness and actually took it quite seriously. And to be honest, I really like the mortar nowadays. I like all 3 cross paths. Like, I only like the bottom cross path once you get to balloon incineration, but with the other 2, I really enjoy using the faster fire rate and the bonus damage of the middle cross path. But I also love the stun and the huge explosiveness of the top cross path. So when I first started playing this game, I was really in tune with the Wizard Monkey. I really liked it. I like all 3 cross paths, whether you want to be an Archmage where you can not master all 3 cross paths, but have some knowledge of each path in general. But I've just really leaned towards the Mortar Monkey as time has gone on and seen the benefits of being able to just reach anything on the map. So let me know down in the comment sections below as to what your favorite tower is of all time. Or it could even be like a hero if I've not mentioned that already. Maybe it's Rosalia, maybe it's Adora, maybe it's Pat Fussy. I should do a video at some point with Pat Fussy on it, because Pat's a very, very underrated hero, I must say so myself. It's a very supportive hero. Or sorry, he's a very supportive hero, but Pat Fussy is Pat Fussy. Your favorite tower could also be dependent on what situation it can be in. So for boss events, it could be the banana farm, being able to generate so much more moolah than if you didn't have any generative towers down. Stuff that produces more income than what you would otherwise, let's say in a Jins game, for example. We're going to go to Knockback, and we're going to go to Ultra Vision with the Super Monkey so that it can pop camo purple balloons. Now we need to be careful with our Super Monkey here. We can't just upgrade him up to Tech Terror like round 62 or 78, because then that means we haven't got a effective means of being able to pop camo purple balloons, or just purple balloons in general, because of the fact that we'll be changing our damage type from normal to plasma, going from Robo Monkey to Tech Terror. Like, the ability can pop purple balloons, but you're not always going to be able to get all of the purples in round 78 in a single use of the Tech Terror ability. But don't worry, the Anti-Bloon's damage type by default is normal. So while our Super Monkey at the moment cannot at all interact with lead balloons or frozen balloons, it is the way forward. It is the thing in which we need to do in order to progress forward in this scenario. Otherwise, we won't have an effective mean of being able to pop purple balloons, or just purple balloons in general. Like the Wizard, unless you go bottom cross path, it's not what you call an effective means of popping purple balloons And no, the gimmick that you use when it comes to the fireballs that this thing chucks out when it comes to non-purple balloons being damaged by the fireball, then that explosion being able to damage nearby purple balloons is not an effective means of popping purple balloons. Before you put that in the comment sections of the video. Round 45, got ourselves purple balloons there, but on round 48 we're going to have ourselves some camo regrow purple balloons. Sometimes an ender to certain two-tower chimp scenarios. Although some people are able to make Azili work, even though Azili's not a good two-tower chimps tower slash hero. Some people like to think that heroes are not towers, so therefore a Geraldo 1-tower chimps, which was used to be possible, is a 0-tower chimps, according to some people. Okay, Dragon's Breath, and then we're going to go up to Summon Phoenix after that, and then we're going to save our money until the end of round 78, in which we're going to buy Tech Terror, because the next purple threat on round 95 will be able to have the anti-balloon by then anyways. Round 49, progressing very well here. I like to have our Super Monkey over on this portion of Resort because we've got much more like coverage of where the balloons are on the map. So they could be in the beginning, they could be mid, they could be mid-end before they exit down here. Sometimes it's not about having like a particular portion of a map covered. It's about having as many corners on a map covered as possible, even if you have very minimal range on that portion of the map, you still have that portion of the map somewhat covered. Okay, Summon Phoenix is ready to be activated. If you're able to make just Dragon's Breath and the anti-balloon work, then please let me know. But testing on round 76, regrow balloons have always been able to regrow, and these things have always pierced cap tower towers here, and don't want to go up to Tech Terror just to be able to get through round 76 because round 78 will then be impossible. The Super Monkey even has an appropriate pet for Halloween in the form of the bat. I'll go do a video on Corbett at some point as well, because I haven't done a video on him since his debut in update 40. It's like, it's pointless doing a two-tower chimp scenario with him because he's banned from two-tower chimps because of a certain run on Reddit where he managed to do a one-tower co-op chimps when he was released. Co-op meaning that you can have two people on the screen and then from there be able to give one of the people more money, and he's able to just effectively solo the entire game doing shenanigans with like soul barrier and all that stuff. Round 63, enough talking about a stupid time within the community where every single hero or every single other hero that came out broke the two-tower chimps. First it was Sorda, then Geraldo, and then with enough money, Corvus. Although Corvus has a wonderful pet in the form of that owl that he has. I also really love the Druid in this game. Like, Spirit of the Forest is one of my favorite towers of all time. Obviously very poor against like fortified ZMGs, very poor against DDTs, especially poor against the bad, but just for consistent damage all across the track. Spirit of the Forest is, I would say, one of the most beginner friendly towers in which you can present to a player. Like, if you've got a problem when it comes to like just covering the entire track, then here's an upgrade for you. Here's Spirit of the Forest. Once you get it, then the only thing you got to worry about is be able to do single target damage, in which you can invest in, let's say, a Moab Eliminator, so that then your round 100 experience will be much easier. When it comes to primary towers, I think Boomerang is my favorite tower out of all of those. Like, it's probably like the most well-rounded like set of towers within the entire game. I think Moab Domination has a bit more of a niche pick when it comes to putting it down, whereas Glaive Lord nowadays is quite OP as a tower. Permacharge is incredibly reliable, with well, essentially only camos being a weakness. There is that one monkey knowledge point, but we're speaking in chimps terms, and that monkey knowledge point doesn't exist. If I was able to make camo ice solo work, then ice towers would be up there, because there are certain players within the community that is able to just effectively solo every single camo balloon within the game with just a ice tower. I think it's only top cross path or bottom cross path is viable. Here's the thing that I don't understand, okay? Signal Flare can decamoufy black balloons despite the fact that it can't pop black balloons. Ninjas are able to decamoufy lead balloons even if it doesn't have the flash bomb. Let's see. The Shimmer is able to decamoufy purple balloons even though the main tower cannot pop purple balloons. What other aspects are there? The Engineer is able to decamoufy DDTs even though it cannot pop DDTs at all. But when it comes, and also Submarine is able to decamoufy lead balloons even if it's not able to attack lead balloons, even though Submersion can't attack anything, but you get my point here. The only tower which cannot decamoufy a particular weakness of its ability to be able to pop things is the Ice Tower. The embrittlement cannot decamoufy white balloons. And I feel like that is a change that Ninja Kiwi kind of needs to make in order to make all decamification like methods a bit more viable within the game. Like you can decamify DDT with a middle path ninja, but obviously it cannot damage it at all. But it's just something about the Ice Tower which would make it a bit more viable within Chimps games, where if it's able to decamify a white balloon, even though it can't damage it, it just makes that tower a bit more viable. Okay, so we're now past round 78 where we need to, well, like, be worried about purple balloons. Now we can put down Tech Terror, and there's not a single purple balloon in the 80s up until round 95. So round 79 going very well here. Like, this is definitely a very relaxing two-tower Chimps, but then again we are on probably the easiest map for a two-tower Chimps. And just to be clear, I don't always like doing a two-tower Chimps on a different map, not because I don't find it fun, but because I like the two-tower Chimps run to be as translatable as possible for newer players, rather than just being like the most sweatiest kind of run where I do it on the hardest map in which that two-tower Chimps is possible on that particular update. Yoink! Get rid of you. If you do enough damage to a ZMG, then the Tech Terror can just instantly wipe it out. Although there are benefits towards not wiping it out, so let's say your Tech Terror ability is able to recharge, and that is a potential reason why you would want to do damage against a heavy amount of damage, but not pop it, so that you can get the ability back for the next round. Okay, so Super Ceramics, a little bit annoying, but it's just one of those things. So I plan on using the Tech Terror ability. I do want to leave some balloons left. So I'm going to use it now so we have these few fortified, let's say few of them, 4 fortified BFBs left. The same as regular balloons, but just twice as tough. Is it twice as tough? I like to think that the fortified layer does add twice as much need to be able to crack the ceramic layer. It doesn't do anything for the insides, by the way. It's just the being able to get inside it. It takes twice as many hits. Okay, so take out the majority of them. Also, a fun gimmick with the Tech Terror ability is that every third use that you have of the Tech Terror ability, and the same with the Anti-Bloon, it does 50% more damage, which I haven't kept track of, to be honest. I'm sure somebody down there will be like, well, you used it on this time, and this is the number of times that you've used beforehand, so therefore you're now doing 50% more on the next time, or the next, like the second time that you use it, or you've just done it, so therefore it takes 3 more times. Okay, round 85. I'm going to do some damage against the first one there, and then pop it. Okay, partially damaged the first one. I don't particularly like that, but it's nice that the 2 ZMGs are dispersed out like that. So we're around about 13k away from the Anti-Bloon, and this run is sorted. Much sorted. Okay, I'm going to use it then and there, then just leave the last one there to be popped by default. In certain Chimps runs, it is very, very vital that you don't just pop balloons, you kind of stall balloons as well. Like, say, with glue gunners or with an ice tower. You don't always want to pop something because you've got to think about the next round as well. What do I need to do in order to progress through the game rather than just progress through the current... Okay, I need to put you on first, actually. What do I need to do to progress through a current round, rather than always being like, okay, so I need to prioritize this round or that round. So here, for example, I should actually use my Tecto ability a bit later in the round or earlier in the round, so I can get a second use out of it. But you always want to try and adapt your strategy when you're learning about this game, or when you've had a lot of hours in the game and you try and find other means of being able to progress through a game, rather than just simply think about damage. Because if you just think about damage at the end of the day, you're not going to really have anything to enhance that damage or support that damage. So let's say with Blue Gunners, they're a fantastic way of support because you're slowing down balloons. And with a bottom cross path, you're able to slow down Moabs. And with some camo detection, you're able to then be able to affect DDTs, which is one of the biggest threats in a Chimps game. Like, that's not a debate. That is just, I think, a fact that DDTs are one of the biggest threats within a Chimps game. Obviously, the bad as well is the final threat, but then again, there's also the DDTs inside it. Anyways, enough rambling here. Last 4 to 5 BFB to deal with. Let's just do that by default. And another thing that just entered my brain here, it's not just about damage you need to consider about. Pierce is a big factor. Like, how many balloons can your projectile go through before the projectile itself disappears? Round 91. I'm actually gonna destroy all of you to give them money. There we go. There's the money, and that is game, ladies and gentlemen. Once you get the anti-balloon, like, this can do... This is a 1-tower Chimps right here with the anti-balloon. Like, obviously, we're not going to get 2 megabots with the anti-balloon because we really needed the wizard in the earlier portions of the game, particularly with lead balloons. Okay, DDTs, don't need to worry about them. Obviously, with the anti-balloon, you always want to go top cross pass so you get more power out of it, but in order to actually hit camo balloons, the Ultra Vision's kind of necessary here, unless you can decamify the balloons with, let's say, a shimmer or a submersion support or anything else that we've talked about within this video. Like, in the majority of pairings when it comes to other towers in which the anti-balloon is paired with, always go with Ultra Vision crosspath rather than Plasma Blast. Also, as you can tell, normal damage type here. I wonder if Ninja Kiwi is going to nerf this thing by changing it from normal to plasma in order for, I don't know, more balancing within the game. And sometimes balancing a game can honestly take the fun out of it, because what you're doing then is kind of trying to incentivize players to use a particular tower in which they may not want to use, because it's beforehand an absolute crap tower, but now you're trying to make me wean into go into that actual tower because it's not really used. So let's say with the Superstorm Druid, I think that's barely used, but it is a fun tower in and of itself, right? The Avatar of Wrath is my least favorite of the Druids because I think its damage is really inconsistent because it's relied on the RBE that is totaled on the track at that given time. If you don't know what RBE is, it's Red Balloon equivalent. So having 1 million RBE within a round, for example, means that in total there are an equivalent of 1 million red balloons compact into all of these different kind of targets here. Okay, we're just going to wipe out everything there. I am not wasting time here in order to try and defaultly attack every single one of them. Okay, so round 100. How much damage we're going to do with this anti-balloon ability? That was 15k, so I think that was a third use, wasn't it? Maybe I'm hallucinating here. Okay, let's try and wipe this thing out when we can. And we just, we didn't instantly wipe it out because we used it and then we used it again and the Summon Phoenix was able to do enough damage there. Maybe I shouldn't have used the ability to do that little bit of extra damage, I don't know. But alas, folks, that is what we call a successful 2-tower Chimps scenario. The only hiccup was on round 87 and that was just ability timing, that was just it. The ant balloon. It's no means an ant, let's just say that. So yeah, that was a really cool 2-tower Chimps scenario. Obviously, it would be a bit more interesting if it was on a different map, but I just really like Resort. This is personally one of my favorite maps within the game because It really is a map in which you can utilize all different kinds of strategies, because there's like a point here which you can utilize a particular strategy. This square here is very good if you like tack shooters or ice towers or sorter or Pat Fussy. Like, I used this map to get the 2 megapots video that I did on Pat Fussy. I don't know how people were able to do it on, let's say, a stupid map like I don't know, the cabin. Has Pat been done on the cabin? I imagine someone out there has done Pat on the cabin, and they're literally like, it's so easy. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of this video down in the comment sections below. A little bit of a spoiler for the next video. I have been able to come up with a strategy. I mentioned this in my previous video when it came to the Ultra Juggernaut and the Dark Champion, but I've not been able to come up with a strategy in order to afford carpet of spikes for round 79 in order to do that 2 megapots. I've been able to just about form a strategy, so that is going to be the next video. But I've had work today, and Tuesdays are my free days, so I'm able to put as much time as I need to in order to make that video possible. Thank you all so much for watching, everyone. Let me know what you thought of the video down in the comment sections below, and also comment your favorite tower in Balloons Tower Defense 6. I always feel like a new tower is given some like grace because of the fact that it's a new experience. You could definitely tell it's a new tower because I've only got 1 million experience, whereas other ones have got like 69 million experience. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care of yourselves, everyone.